Throughout history, few objects have captured human imagination like the Ark of the Covenant. Considered the most powerful religious artifact ever described, this mysterious relic disappeared more than 2,600 years ago, taking with it secrets that have puzzled archaeologists, historians, and believers alike. A sacred chest covered in gold, crowned by two cherubim with outstretched wings, guardian of the Ten Commandments, and physical manifestation of the divine presence among the Israelites. What happened to this extraordinary relic? Was it destroyed? Does it remain hidden in some remote location? Or perhaps it has been in plain sight for centuries? In the next few minutes, we will explore the fascinating mystery of the Lost Ark, analyzing the evidence, theories, and legends surrounding its disappearance. To understand the enigma of the Ark, we must first understand what this object was according to the texts that describe it. According to the book of Exodus, God personally instructed Moses on how to build the Ark while the Israelites camped at the foot of Mount Sinai. The specifications were precise: a rectangular chest made of acacia wood, covered with pure gold inside and out, with dimensions of approximately 4.3 feet long by 2.6 feet wide and high. Inside were kept the two stone tablets with the Ten Commandments, Aaron's rod that had miraculously blossomed, and a container with manna, the food sent by God to feed the Israelites in the desert. The Ark was so sacred that it could only be transported by the Levites, who had to use gold-plated poles inserted into rings on its sides, avoiding direct contact with the object. According to the texts, anyone who touched the Ark without authorization would die instantly. For centuries, the Ark accompanied the people of Israel, first in the desert tabernacle and later in the temple built by King Solomon in Jerusalem. The texts describe numerous miracles associated with it. The waters of the Jordan River parted in its presence, the walls of Jericho collapsed when the Ark circled them, and enemy armies were defeated when the Ark accompanied the Israelites in battle. The last reliable mention of the Ark in biblical texts appears during the reign of King Josiah of Judah, around 622 BCE. After that, silence. The Ark, the most sacred object for the Israelites, simply disappears from historical records. In 587 BCE, Jerusalem fell to the army of Nebuchadnezzar II. Solomon's temple was looted and destroyed. However, curiously, in the meticulous Babylonian inventory of treasures confiscated from the temple, the Ark of the Covenant is never mentioned. This silence is extraordinarily revealing. The Babylonians meticulously documented every valuable object they took from the temple, from candelabras to the smallest ceremonial vessels. The absence of the Ark, the most valuable treasure of all, suggests that by then it was no longer in the temple. When the Jews returned from exile and rebuilt the temple in Jerusalem, the Ark was not restored. The most sacred place in the Second Temple, the Holy of Holies, remained empty. Somehow, the most important object for Hebrew worship had disappeared without a trace. Over the centuries, numerous theories have emerged to explain what happened to the Arkansas. Let's examine the most prominent ones and the evidence supporting them. The Egyptian theory suggests that the Ark was moved to a Jewish colony on the island of Elephantine in the Nile, where ancient texts mention a Jewish temple built long before the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed. Another theory, supported by the second book of Maccabees, claims that the prophet Jeremiah, anticipating the destruction of Jerusalem, hid the Ark in a cave on Mount Nebo. The text relates that Jeremiah found a chamber in a cave where he put the tabernacle, the Ark, and the altar of incense, and then sealed the entrance. The prophet declared that the place would remain unknown until God finally gathers his people together and shows them his mercy. Some historians suggest that the Ark was indeed captured by the Babylonians, but being an object associated with a foreign god, it would not have been highlighted in official records. It might have been melted down for its gold or kept as a trophy in some pagan temple. One of the most persistent theories holds that, faced with the imminent Babylonian invasion, the priests hid the Ark in a system of tunnels beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, where it would remain to this day. Excavations in the temple area are extremely sensitive for political and religious reasons. Nevertheless, there is evidence of an elaborate system of chambers and tunnels beneath the Temple Mount. If the Ark was hidden there, it could be just meters away from where the dome of the rock currently stands. But perhaps the most fascinating theory takes us to the highlands of Ethiopia. Ethiopian tradition holds that the Ark was taken from Jerusalem to Ethiopia by Menelik I, son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. According to this tradition, the Ark currently resides in a special chapel next to the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum, guarded by a keeper who dedicates his entire life to protecting it, and who is the only person authorized to see it. For us, it's not a theory, it's a fact. The Ark has been here for almost 3,000 years. We do not allow it to be seen or examined because its power is too great. Ethiopians have protected this sacred treasure with their lives, generation after generation. The search for the Ark has inspired explorers, archaeologists, and adventurers for centuries. From medieval crusades to modern excavations, the desire to find this sacred relic has driven numerous expeditions. In the 1980s, archaeologist Vendel Jones led excavations in Qumran, near the Dead Sea, following clues found in the Dead Sea Scrolls that suggested the location of the Ark. Meanwhile, multiple teams have scoured the slopes of Mount Nebo in Jordan, searching for the cave described in Maccabees, so far without success. In Jerusalem, excavations near the Temple Mount have revealed ancient tunnels and chambers, fueling speculation about possible hiding places for the Arkansas. However, religious and political sensitivities have severely limited these investigations. In 1982, amateur explorer Ron Wyatt caused a stir by claiming he had discovered the Ark in a cave beneath Golgotha, the traditional site of Jesus' crucifixion. According to Wyatt, Christ's blood would have dripped through a crack in the rock to fall upon the Ark, hidden there 6 centuries earlier. However, Wyatt never provided verifiable evidence for this discovery, and the archaeological community has largely rejected his claims. The mystery of the Ark has also fascinated popular culture, inspiring films like Raiders of the Lost Ark, which, though fantastical, reflects the enduring appeal of this enigmatic relic. What does the mystery of the Ark tell us about ourselves? Regardless of its current whereabouts, the Ark represents something profound in human consciousness: the search for the divine, the tangible connection with the transcendent. What's fascinating about the Ark is that it transcends its status as a historical object. It has become a universal symbol of humanity's quest for the sacred, of our need to connect with something greater than ourselves. Many cultures and religions have their own arks, objects or places where the divine and human meet. Perhaps the true importance of the Ark lies not in its physical location, but in what it represents: the divine presence among us. The Ark may remain hidden for another 2,600 years, or perhaps one day it will be discovered in a forgotten cave, under the desert sands, or in an ancient tunnel. It might even be hidden in plain sight, watched over by silent guardians. What is undoubtable is that the mystery of the lost Ark remains one of the most captivating archaeological and religious enigmas in history, an enigma that perhaps was never meant to be solved.